Yeah, first of all, let me just tell you something, a little side here. My mouth is on fire, okay? Because I just had a little snack before this, so I had a little energy, and I put habanero sauce all everything. And I'm rubbing my gums. I can't put the fire. Even the Diet Coke won't put it out.
It's extra energy for today, though. It gives
hot,
you like adrenaline.
Hot. Yeah, it's totally hot.
All of a sudden, this is an episode of Hot Ones.
So, Michael, I'm going to fire up the first topic. And for everybody watching, listening, this is a topic Michael does not know is coming his way, but he is going to love it. Let me share your screen. Michael, you see that screen?
Yes.
All right. I'm going to play a little bit of this for you just up top. I'm going to go back and rewind, and I'm going to let you listen to the intro a little bit. We could stop and start along the way and have dialogue in and out, but I just wanted to start here. So this is Elon Musk announces Tesla's bot Optimus Next Gen 3. Okay, this is a robot. This is like a full standing robot.
This is a real thing.
We expect to have several thousand Optimus robots produced and doing useful things by the end of next year in the Tesla factories. And then in 2026, ramping up production quite a bit. And at that point, we'll be providing Optimus robots to outside customers.
$580,000 is the amount of money a business can save over 20 years in labor costs by purchasing a security guard. Tesla bought for 20 grand instead of hiring a human worker for $600,000 over this time. Imagine how much money you can save with your current company size. Actually, deciding between humans and robots could be a complete game changer. No benefits, no vacations, and no fatigue. You don't have healthcare injuries or workplace drama either. Tesla bot can operate continuously, replacing humans with savings up to 30 times cheaper.
So you said you had the greatest question. This is real? So I'll be honest with you.
The internet is always so, you just, because I've seen a lot of Boston Dynamics stuff, and I've actually seen the Boston Dynamics in person. I was at an event, and there was a guy, and he worked for Boston Dynamics, and his t-shirt said, "I build robots." And I went, and he had one with him, and I was like, "You're the coolest man here, man. You build robots." That's it.
So let's approach this from two angles. Let's make believe it's real, or it's fake and it's coming.
Yeah, I think it's real and it's coming.
I think it's real.
Yeah.
So, they take the $20,000. It's 20. According to this, it's $20,000,
which is a very good purchase price.
20-year life, right? 20-year life, which is pretty amazing.
Yeah.
And does stuff.
Yeah.
What do you think these? I mean, much like machinery bots are in place in manufacturing.
Yeah.
This is a much more mobile, more agile sort of form of getting things done. What are your thoughts on this?
I mean, I love robots. I mean, you can't. One of the pictures behind me is a famous painting of New York, and instead of people, it's robots. Like I love robots, and so I want robots. I think that it's a funny pitch. The cost savings, the workforce management. I think let's just see it. Let's see 10 of them at a conference, walking around, interacting with people.
Yeah.
We'll all figure out how to use them. You don't really have to explain to us how to use robots. If you have a robot that can interact naturally with other people and do a job, fantastic. If they can walk a workplace and walk security perimeter. But reality is that robot is going to be talking to somebody, right? And so the one thing that I think that I've been trying to talk a little bit about with people is I'm not concerned about all the jobs going away, right? I do think that as AI improves and it changes, there are things we can't imagine and opportunities that there are going to be for people. And so I still think on the other side of this robot, there might be fewer people monitoring a bigger team of robots. But I mean, this is Iron Man 3, right? He has his Iron Man Legion in that iRobot, where people have their own personal robot companions. I think the movie was called Frank, maybe.
I remember that. It was Frank.
Where he has a robot companion. I mean, the use cases, I think, are way cooler than the workforce ones, I love the workforce ones and show me more, but like let's get robot Amazon delivery. You know, it's interesting for Tesla to talk about robots when we really want to talk about self-driving cars
Well,
and the use cases for that.
Musk doesn't say he's a car manufacturer. Musk says that those cars, the self-driving cars, they're robots, but they just look like a car.
That's right.
That's
Yeah,
how
that's
he pitches
exactly
it.
right. Yeah.
He says,
Yeah,
these
that's
we're
exactly
in the
right.
robot business. They just look like a car. That's
Yeah.
it. Just look like a car.
Yeah.
I'm going to tell you why I like it. First of all, if you look back in history, there's been so much displacement of the way we used to work.
Yeah.
Thousands of years, right? Thousands of years. You could look at a backhoe as a robot. You could look at a bulldozer or crane. All of these things to create the things we used to create would kill people. They would take such brute force and manual labor. People would die doing construction. People still die doing construction, but I don't think people in the bucket are dying because they got, their wrist hurt from moving the controls, right? There are other issues, but you look at the manufacturing world, the robots on the line of car production. There are just so many things that have come. I was talking to somebody about this little segment earlier this morning. My wife's friend was over and I was gathering some stuff for our show today. She goes, "Oh, what's that?" And I showed her. She goes, "Oh, boy, what do you think?" I said, "You know what I think?" I said, "My daughter is about to give birth to my first grandchild. And I think what that child may do as a living is not even invented yet."
Yeah, I agree.
We just don't even know. Now, personally, I'd love a robot at the house.
Yeah.
I'd buy one for myself.
Yeah.
Yeah. How about get me a drink?
Well, it's funny, in the Industrial Revolution, there were folk tales about sort of the changing dynamic of what we should expect. And the one I grew up with, not that I grew up in the Industrial Revolution, but one of the children's books I grew up with was about John Henry. And John Henry was able to dig a tunnel and he was stronger than 10 men. And in the story, they bring in a steam powered bulldozer. And we're all rooting for John Henry.
Yeah,
because
totally.
We don't want that to change, but that change happens, right? And we keep changing with it. We keep evolving. And so I think you're exactly right. It's hard to know. I do like the idea that this all ends up the narrative of the Terminator movie. I mean, I'm always hoping for that to happen in some way, or the Matrix movie. Like, those are the, dark sides of these, but who knows? Maybe we'll all get along famously.
I'm pretty nice to my family, people that come to my house. I don't ask for much. Yeah. Every now and then, I want my back scratched a little bit. You can't imagine the amount of bullshit I put up with here trying to get a few scratches on my back. The robot gonna scratch me all day long.
Absolutely.
I'd pay $20,000 to get my back scratched.
Yeah,
I would. It would.
Yeah.
Do the laundry, fold the laundry. There are a million household chores that can be done. And even in work, I mean, here's the thing I think about. You think people that really, I understand people do like heavy manual labor. When you want a robot digging a hole with a shovel in a place, a backhoe couldn't get, people are going to be safer. They're going to be able to, the guy on the job site's going to be controlling the robot or fixing it or doing something rather than having to bust it back and be crippled by the time they're our age. It's
I think exoskeletons, which are going to use similar technologies, things that I can wear. And then look,
that's huge, by the way. Those exoskeletons, I dig that.
Yeah. And as nice as he's talking about, the workforce, there are going to be serious military applications for things like this, and that the U.S. military will be a big investor and buyer of this kind of technology, because already we're using drones, right? We are not in we're not in the theater in person as much anymore. The less we can put our soldiers in harm's way, and the more we can use automation.
That's a scary proposition. I don't want to freak out the audience, but if you study history, when when the U.S. was attacked by the Japanese at Pearl Harbor, their original plan was to land and to put a force on the ground. They thought they could do that. And because of the Second Amendment, agree or disagree with it, one of the generals said, we can't fight on the earth, on the grounds of the United States, because it interpreted was because there is a gun behind every blade of grass that is in the country, right? And so here we are, number of years later. Maybe I don't know that this is necessarily true, but I have to think logically that people might be resistant to putting forces on the ground here in the United States beyond our militaries, because, like it or not, there are 400 million guns in hands of armed citizens of the Americans, for better or worse. And robots don't care about that.
Yeah.
So you can dump, 10,000, 20,000 of these robots armed to the gilt, right? We got to be able to counter it. It's
Well, the RoboCop came out in '88, right? There was
yes,
a
I know it
remake
very
about 10
well.
years ago. I think these things, are all going to be in play. I prefer the use case of a companion and somebody
Yeah,
who can
you and me
eat
both.
dinner, but I
I
think
like getting my back
robots-
scratched,
Yeah,
just like I told you. I'm actually
Yeah.
getting itchy right now.
yeah,
Imagine if you had an itchy scalp.
yeah. And it wouldn't be weird right during this for the robot to come over and be like more in the middle.
Yeah, exactly. It would be good. All right. So, so the claim here in the article was that, we could start seeing these things commercially available in 2026 sometime. That would be crazy.
That
That
would
would
be
be
crazy.
completely crazy.
Yeah, it would be great if they showed up as novelties. Like
Yeah.
I was saying earlier, it'd be just great to see robots. Like when I was at this thing and the guy was operating, and it wasn't really a robot because he was operating it a little bit. But the Boston Dynamics stuff is crazy cool. And the social media fake stuff that you see
Yeah.
they
See
have
a ton of
robots
it.
doing, awesome. Can't
It
get
is
enough.
good. It's real good.